Hey y'all, it's Kim again. So this is more of Zaki Hazou, the detective that was investigating the crash with Mackenzie Shirilla. It's his report. We're almost halfway through it. I mean, I've already got two other videos up, or three. I don't know, something like that. But this is just text messages between Mackenzie and Christine Russo, the mother of Dominic. And we're going to start right here. This is page 47 of this report, March 5th, 2022 at 10:45. So Russo, he just got home. Avoid any conflict, please. You can call me. Mackenzie, I'm just waiting to talk to him. And then Russo, they just left. It's going to be a while. You should respect his space while he's gone. And then Russo, I asked you to leave. You should have respect and left. You should have respect and left. And then Mackenzie, he's home now. And then July 2nd, 2022, the year of the crash, the month, July 2nd, 2022 at 1:27. Russo, don't fight, just leave, take a break. Mackenzie, I've already left Dom, needs some therapy. He's so mean. Because you won't stop him. Stop messing with him. July 3rd, 2022 at 12:44 hours. Mackenzie, Dom is threatening to take me to civil court. What? Mackenzie, I tried really hard to work everything out, but he's just being mean to me, and I don't know what to do, but now he's threatening my mom. And then Mackenzie, he didn't even text me. He texted my mom that he's taking her to civil court after she helped him. And then Russo, he's just blowing off steam. And Mackenzie, I left after he told me we should just talk later, and then he threatened my mom. So I think he's actually done with me this time. I don't know. So this was what, 28 days before? So basically almost like 4 weeks that he was probably about ready to break up with her, and she just wouldn't leave him alone. So I don't know. Make of it what you will. And then Russo, well, you should have asked before ordering stuff. And then Mackenzie, I did. He gave me the money to put on my card. 7/17. So this is 2 weeks exactly. At 12:45, Mackenzie, can you come get Dom? He just grabbed my steering wheel on the highway trying to spin out my car and hurt me. Mackenzie, I'm scared to drive because it's raining, so I just need to get picked up. Mackenzie, if he doesn't get out of my car, I'm calling my dad, so please tell him to get out. And then Russo hinges on his way. Calm down for, I don't know what that means. For now, please. That's probably what you meant, please. And then Mackenzie, to be honest, I can't calm down when he just tried to end my life. And then Mackenzie, then he lied to you about it. The Russo, I'm just trying to diffuse for now. I'm not mad at anyone. And then Mackenzie, I don't think he's capable of that when he keeps telling me to shut up and to duct tape my mouth. Mackenzie, I don't feel safe. Mackenzie, he's also threatening to blackmail me to my mom, and then he's not getting out. He also blocked me, so I can't go pick up any of my belongings at his house. I hope this is a learning experience for him on what not to do to women because I really don't think he knows how to treat them at all. And then she's like, stop the fighting. This is Russo. And stop lying. Russo, when he gets his things, you can get yours. And then Mackenzie, first of all, I'm not lying about anything. Maybe you shouldn't take his word so seriously. You don't know how he treats me behind closed doors. And then it's never okay to try to end somebody's life or put their hands on people. And then Russo, no one should touch anyone. No fighting for sure in the car. And then Russo, he never put his hands on you. And then Mackenzie, you need to tell him that. He tried to end my life today and told me, do you want to die? Okay. And then Mackenzie almost hit the wall and could have died. And then Russo, and you haven't blackmailed him with the cops 100 times. At 11:15, I called the Elyria, maybe police department's records office to inquire about the call Natalie Shirilla made to Elyria police. Mackenzie had mentioned in a text message to Christine Russo on August 14th, 2020 at 6:14, so 4:15, that her mother had called Alaria police. Upon Googling Alaria, the only result indicated to a misspelling in the name. I also searched for any reports filed by Natalie Shirilla using the Ohio Law Enforcement Network, or OLEN, and did not see any. Elyria Police Dispatch informed me that Natalie Shirilla never called to file any reports with their agency. Oh, so I guess that she's trying to cover up and say that that's who they contacted. So September 20th, 2022, 11:36, using location data extracted from Mackenzie's phone, I searched whether her phone had registered in the area of Alameda Drive in Progress. I found out her phone was on Alameda Drive 7 times, with the last time being on July 28th, 2022 at 17:42 hours. Oh, isn't that lovely? We're just gonna take a little screenshot of this because I was wondering how they knew. And of course, the parents will be like, well, how do you know it was directly pinged on that street? It could have been in the vicinity. But I guess it actually is showing it as a pinned streets right there. Okay, so let's keep moving. Okay, so 12:15 interview with Christine Russo. Christine Russo, Dominic Russo's mother, came to the police station by herself for the interview. The primary purpose of the interview was to shed light on the relationship between her deceased son and his girlfriend, Mackenzie Shirilla. Detective Glover and I conducted the interview in one of the interview rooms in the lobby. After updating her on the status of the investigation, I explained to her that the interview would be audio recorded on my body camera. Russo did not object. I began the interview by a revisiting statement made by Russo immediately after the crash, whereby she did not believe the cause of the crash had anything to do with impairment. Russo stated that a few days before this interview, she asked Mackenzie why they hadn't called someone to pick them up instead of driving, and she told her they weren't effed up at the time of the crash. The conversation between the two happened at the cemetery and was not recorded. Russo brought up rumors that were being circulated among Dominic and Mackenzie's friends regarding what had happened at the Burlinghouse. I think that's how you say it, Burlinghouse residence. We did not delve into the specifics of what was being said. During the conversation, however, Russo mentioned that Dominic's best friend, Blair Wallace, whom I interviewed on August 26, 2022, had told her that I was inquiring whether the three occupants of the vehicle had made a pact to commit, that together. I clarified to Russo that I only asked Blair whether Dominic had ever confided in him about Mackenzie. My phone is over here tripping. Hold on. Specifically, whether Dominic was ever concerned about his safety as a result of his relationship with Mackenzie, whether it was from her driving or, those ideations, self-harm, harming someone else. Because otherwise I'll get flagged, and it's like this whole stupid thing of censorship. These questions were necessary given the information provided by Diane Fosnight, Tyler Proctor's mother, about Mackenzie threatening the life of her son while they were dating. I sought corroboration to confirm or dispel whether Mackenzie was that way or that way, because otherwise I'll get dinged, or whether Dominic was concerned for his safety. Blair was unable to answer the question, but mentioned that Dominic never discussed the topic with him. Russo suggested I talk to her son, Angela Russo. According to her, Dominic had confided in him about his relationship with Mackenzie. Russo further stated that Mackenzie constantly threatened Dominic. She mentioned the incident from a week before the crash, where Mackenzie threatened to crash the car she was driving when Dominic was with her. Hold on. Okay. So let's see. Text messages between Christine Russo and Mackenzie exist about the incident. The text messages took place on July 17, 2022 at approximately 12:45 hours. Mackenzie texted Russo saying, "Can you come get Dom? He just grabbed my steering wheel on the highway trying to spin out my car and hurt me." Russo explained that during the incident, she was on the phone with Dominic, who was calm, thus contradicting what Mackenzie was telling her about him being out of control. Dominic was described by his mother as not having been too involved with social media or even text messages. She explained that he preferred calling people directly to talk. She also described him as a safe driver. Oh man. Okay. I asked Russo to describe Dominic and Mackenzie's relationship. She said Dominic was private about his arguments with Mackenzie, but Angelo told her Mackenzie would threaten Dominic all the time. Russo described Mackenzie as wanting everything to be about her. She explained that Dominic continuously catered to her. Russo told us Mackenzie has stayed in touch with her since the crash. Russo admitted to having maintained the relationship partly because Mackenzie was still sharing with her photographs, audio, and video recordings of Dominic. According to her, Mackenzie claims to know nothing and remembers nothing about the events that led to the crash. I want to just picture that because the brother seems to know more. Okay. When asked about where Mackenzie had been living for the past 4 months, Russo stated Mackenzie had been begging her to come over to the house, referring to the Russo residence, particularly the one where Dominic was living at this Lund Road property in Strongsville. Russo explained that although Dominic slept in the house next door, presumably with Mackenzie, he maintained his bedroom in his mother's house next door at this property on Lund Road. Russo explained the reason for this arrangement had to do with the strained relationship between Dominic and his older brother, Chris. It is worthy to note that Christine Russo owns both properties at the Lund Road addresses, and this was confirmed by checking the Cuyahoga County Fiscal Officer's online property search portal, so like the tax office. So that's one house, and that's probably the other one. Next, I asked Russo for consent to search Dominic's cell phone, which at the time was in police custody. Russo denied consent to search the cell phone, citing confidential communication or attorney-client privileged communication with Dominic. I explained to Russo that during the interview with Blair Wallace, he revealed that Dominic had tried to call him via FaceTime around 3 o'clock hours or 300 hours, and that Dominic had texted "I love you" to at least one friend and family members. Russo volunteered to obtain the call log and text message log from Dominic's cell phone, from the cell phone's online account or My Verizon. Russo added that Dominic was more of a caller than he was a texter. Russo explained her desire to obtain Dominic's phone, citing his online investments, business accounts, and cryptocurrency accounts, which are only accessible via the respective applications installed on his cell phone. According to Russo, Dominic was in the music recording business. I told Russo that I will convey her request to obtain Dominic's phone to APA Troop to decide. I inquired about, this thing. So I inquired about Dominic's mental health, given information obtained from text messages between Russo and Mackenzie, whereby Mackenzie urged Russo to have Dominic visit a mental health specialist. Russo denied that Dominic suffered from depression. She explained that after an incident involving his brother Chris, the Berea Municipal Court mandated that Dominic submit to a mental health evaluation and drug screening. Russo said she was in possession of the report in which he was not diagnosed with any mental health issues. She confirms he was never going to hurt himself. And anytime the mention of self-harm was brought up, it was done by Mackenzie. She also added that Dominic was issued a medical marijuana card because of an ankle injury. Maybe it's easier up there. Texas is, I think, pretty hard pressed on that stuff. I asked Russo about a text message exchange with Mackenzie dated July 17, 2022 at approximately 12:45 hours. Mackenzie asked Russo to pick up Dominic from her car, which was stopped at the side of an unknown highway, and Mackenzie claimed Dominic had grabbed her steering wheels. He said steering wheel. That's why I said it. Okay, a steering wheel in an attempt to spin out the car and hurt her. Russo explained that Mackenzie always blames Dominic for whatever issues were going on between them. She further added that Dominic called her and calmly asked her to come pick him up because Kinsey is being crazy. She threatened to crash the car on the highway. Christopher Martin, who goes by Hinch, picked up Dominic that day. He was identified by Russo as a friend of Dominic. In summary, Russo doubted the possibility that Dominic and Mackenzie would have made a self-harm pact with Davian in the vehicle. She opined that OVI was unlikely to cause, was maybe to say unlikely the cause of the crash. The interview was audio recorded on my body camera. Okay. So September 25th, 2022, 9:57, Deanna Fosnight emailed me a photo of Mackenzie attending a party in Cleveland. Fosnight wrote, Saturday, September 17th, 2022, Mackenzie partying at a Kid Cudi festival in the flats of Jacob's Pavilion at Nautica. This is just upsetting. 49 days after killing two people she loved and had to make it downtown to party. Fosnight also attached a photo or a 1 second clip of Mackenzie being wheeled by another female. And the photo and video were attached digitally to the network folder. So, I mean, I understand. I can't see somebody going out and just doing all of that. Okay. September 26, 2022, 9:48. I called Deanna Fosnight to follow up on the email she sent. Upon requesting an in-person interview, she says she cannot do it, citing work commitments. She did, however, agree to a phone interview on Thursday, September 29th, 2022. It's 4 o'clock. 10:41, I forwarded Fosnight's email to APA Troop along with updates pertaining to the case. Most notably, I sought his opinion about returning Davion and Dominic's cell phones to their families since they have requested them. 10:58, sorry. This stupid thing keeps going to the next page. Okay, so 10:58, I called Dominic's brother, Angelo Russo, redacted, to schedule an interview with him. He did not answer. I left a voicemail requesting a call back. Okay, September 27th, 2022, 11:15. I emailed Sergeant Ryan Fox from Ohio State Highway Patrol requesting a status update on his EDR analyst report. 11:35, I called Angelo Russo to schedule an interview with him. He did not answer. I was unable to leave a voicemail because the mailbox was full. 11:50, I called Tyler Croy, redacted, who provided the message that Davian sent him on July 31st, 2022 at approximately 5:30 hours. Tyler confirmed Davian's Snapchat user was Offica 1D. I don't know. September 28, 2022, 11:04. I called Angelo Russo to schedule an interview with him. He did not answer. I was unable to leave a voicemail because the mailbox was full. At 1:41, I returned a voicemail from Angelo Russo. He agreed to come to the police station for an interview on Thursday, 9/29, 2022 at 2:30 hours. Okay, so 2 o'clock, the B&E Church identified. I began reviewing contents from Shirilla's Snapchat account, which we obtained pursuant to a search warrant. Detective Glover first reviewed the content and selected what he deemed pertinent to our investigation of the crash for me to review. During his search, he came upon photographic and video recordings, these idiots, of Mackenzie and Dominic inside an abandoned church. In one of the photos, I zoomed in on a placard at the bottom of the mirror, which the two subjects used for their selfie. They searched, I guess he's saying the first 4 words of the inscription, the Columbia Church of God, in Google and located an abandoned church at 11388 Root Road in Columbia Station, Ohio. Google Maps showed photos depicting for sale signs in front of the church. Even if it's for sale, they still shouldn't have been in the building. 2:30, Detective Glover and I drove to the church to confirm whether it was the one from the Snapchat videos. Upon arrival, it became immediately apparent the church we were looking at and the one from the recordings were one and the same. All the recordings from the suspected breaking and entering caption on Shirilla Snapchat, and I've already uploaded those, some of those anyway. What a bunch of idiots. On July 19th, 2022. So 12 days before the crash, 2:36, I called the phone number for the entity selling the church, National Business Brokers Inc., which was listed on the for sale sign. The owner, Michael Galbraith, answered. He confirmed having had multiple break-ins at the church. He said the property had been for sale for the past 5 years. I explained to him the case I was investigating and asked if he would permit us to photograph the scene. Michael said the owner of the building, Richard E. Kunz, will not mind. Prior to us being able to confirm, the call dropped due to poor cell phone reception in that area. Upon calling Michael back 3 times between 14:45 or 2:45 and 3:20, all calls went to voicemail, but I was unable to leave any because his mailbox was full. In the parking lot of the church was a F-150, a Ford F-150, silver in color, bearing Ohio plate, FKP 9246. Dispatch advised the plate was not on file. Next to the truck was a dilapidated RV. Evidence of breaking and entering and criminal mischief was seen on the exterior of the structure. Signs of forced entry were noticeable on the door. The windows that appeared to be broken on the Snapchat videos were now boarded up. 2:46, Christine Russo called Detective Glover to let him know that she will be accompanying her son Angelo to his interview tomorrow. She also stated she will provide us with Dominic's call log and text messages. 3:25, Lorain County Sheriff Office B&E report 22-19952. I called the Lorain County Sheriff's Office Dispatch Center 440-636-1212. Anyway, I asked the on-duty dispatcher to check for incidents at 11388 Root Road. She confirmed LCSO Deputy Pozega took a B&E report on July 20th, 2022. I then spoke with LCO Detective Lieutenant Van Zant, who confirmed the information provided by their dispatcher, and the Deputy Pozega. Detective Lieutenant Van Zant emailed me their report at 22-19952, which I digitally attached to the network folder under the reports tab, and a hard copy was enclosed in the case jacket. The report did not include details or photographs. September 29th, 2022, 10:24. Judge John J. Russo signed a search warrant for Davion's Snapchat account based on information received from Tyler Croy, and given the lack of recordings on Davion's cell phone, it became evident that if Davion recorded anything, it would likely be on his Snapchat. Search warrant service, Snapchat, Davion Flanagan. I emailed Snapchat's law enforcement portal a PDF scan of the search warrant for Davion's accounts. Moments later, I received an automated reply from Snapchat providing the submission number 231-394-398. They later emailed me about their obligation for user disclosure. I replied expressing that I had no objections to their user notification requirements. 11:25, I called Michael Galbraith. I don't know if he spelled this wrong, or Michael Hell, at National Business Broker. He did not answer. I was unable to leave a voicemail box because his mailbox was full. 11:27, I called Carl Hardaway, redacted. He was listed as a complainant in the LCSO's B&E report. Hardaway did not answer. I left him a voicemail requesting a callback. 11:34, I emailed Hunter Vela Mark Sargent's assistant, requesting they correct the date of the crash on the original report. On page 1 of the original report, I noticed the date of the crash was July 21st, 2022, as opposed to July 31st, 2022. I want the date corrected. 11:45, I called Michael Galbraith at National Business Broker. This time he answered. I explained to him that I wanted to photograph the inside of the church. He said he will contact the property owner to obtain consent. I gave him my name and phone number to call me back. 12:50, Hunter Vela emailed me a corrected version of the forensic inspection report. The date of the crash was corrected to reflect July 31st, 2022. A digital copy was uploaded to the network folder, and a hard copy was enclosed in the case jacket. 2:37, interview Angelo Russo. Angelo Russo, Dominic's older brother, arrived at SPD accompanied by his mother, Christine. Angelo was interviewed because of information provided by Christine during her interview about his intimate knowledge of Mackenzie and Dominic's relationship. The interview was conducted in the prosecutor's conference room and was audio recorded using my body camera without objection by either Christine or Angelo. Detective Jason Glover was also present. I think he was the one making noise in some of those stupid body cam things. I explained to Angelo that I was interested in what he knew about Mackenzie and Dominic's relationship, and Angelo began by confirming that he had known Mackenzie since she was in either 8th or 9th grade, which was around the same time she met Dominic. Angelo described being close to Mackenzie in the early years of her relationship with Dominic. He said she would talk to him like a big brother about self-esteem issues she was having and about relationship issues with Dominic, particularly about him wanting to break up with her. Angelo mentioned how Mackenzie would act crazy when she suspected Dominic of being unfaithful to her. He further explained that when issues in Dominic and Mackenzie's relationships arose, things did not take a healthy course. Over time, Angelo's relationship with Mackenzie weakened and eventually ended because she was selfish. See, I mean, just the character witness of this girl. I mean, there's not very many that actually support her. Okay. I asked Angelo to explain what he meant when he described Mackenzie as crazy. He said that Mackenzie would call Dominic and threaten to kill or harm herself if Dominic broke up with her. Angelo further explained that both Mackenzie and Dominic had separately shared this information with him. He said although Dominic cared for Mackenzie, he was tired of her controlling and selfish personality, which led to him wanting to end the relationship. Angelo added that anytime Dominic would attempt to end the relationship, Mackenzie would make threats. Angelo admitted that it had been a while since Mackenzie threatened to harm herself. He attributed this to the fact that he had blocked her on Snapchat and even blocked her cell phone number. Hold on. I mean, these are just people that know the situation. When asked where Mackenzie had been living for the past 6 months, Angelo said he had seen her at Dominic's house almost every night. Although Angelo never directly asked Dominic whether Mackenzie was living with him, he confirmed having seen her sleeping on his couch, even when Dominic, Angelo, and their friend Blair would be recording music in the house. He further added that Mackenzie spent more time at Dominic's house than she did at her own, especially at night. He further confirmed that Mackenzie had property, clothes, and makeup at Dominic's house. I mean, you know. Christine then added that not only did Mackenzie have clothes at Dominic's house, she also had clothes at Christine's house. In fact, Christine confirmed having washed some of Mackenzie's clothes before Dominic moved next door. Russo added that Mackenzie left shoes in the living room and purses in the back room. During the interview, Angelo mentioned that before the crash, he had been in direct contact with Mackenzie's mother, Natalie, about some of Mackenzie's problems. He mentioned an incident about contacting Natalie regarding Mackenzie's antidepressant prescription medication. According to Angelo, Mackenzie stopped taking her antidepressants, which she had been prescribed since middle school. Mackenzie reportedly told Angelo that the pills made her feel worse, which is the reason she stopped taking them. And when Angelo brought the issue to Natalie's attention, he described her attitude as being, "Don't tell me how to raise my daughter." See, and this is exactly why this child acts the way she does. Okay, hold on. Okay. Next, I inquired whether Dominic confided in Angelo by expressing any concerns for his safety. Angelo stated that Dominic had attempted a breakup with Mackenzie multiple times in July of 2022. He narrated a story from the month before the crash when Mackenzie assaulted Dominic while Dominic was driving on some highway. According to Angelo, Dominic stopped his car on the side of the highway and had someone else come and pick them up because he was worried. Hold on. He was worried Mackenzie was going to crash the car. This story sounded similar to the one I read about in the text message exchange and had talked to Christine about during the interview. Christine, hold on. Okay. Christine and Angelo talked amongst each other to ensure they weren't telling me the same story, but with the facts twisted. At the end, both believed that there were two highway incidents preceding the crash. In one, Mackenzie was driving her car, and the other, Dominic was driving his. Christopher Hinch Martin was the person who picked them up in both incidents. At that point, I expressed interest in interviewing Chris in order to determine the accuracy of the highway incidents. On 10/16 of 2022, Christine told me that after questioning Christopher Hinch Martin about the incident, he told her it only happened once. There were not two different incidents. So it was probably Dominic actually driving, and Mackenzie was the one being crazy and pulled the wheel or something. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they have to say. According to Angelo, in recent months, Dominic had been wanting to break up with Mackenzie because he was getting tired of her possessiveness. He added that recently they were fighting between 2 to 3 times per week. Angelo confirmed having witnessed their verbal altercations, but never a physical altercation. Christine, on the other hand, stated that Dominic had called her in the past to get Mackenzie to leave his house because she physically assaulted him. Angelo added that even when Mackenzie got kicked out of Dominic's house, she would return immediately afterward and attempt to gain entry. So that goes back to that whole video that he was recording, saying Dominic was recording when she was threatening to key his car and you better let me in the house or we're gonna have an effing problem, blah blah blah, all this stuff. So Angelo mentioned that when Mackenzie was in the 10th grade, anytime she got kicked out of Dominic's house through a fight, she would go to her house and text Dominic about wanting to harm herself. Once she had her driver's license, when she got kicked out, she would drive herself back to his house. Angelo added that as Mackenzie grew up, her behavior became more erratic. Upon asking if he was ever a passenger in a vehicle operated by Mackenzie, Angelo said no. Angelo mentioned that Mackenzie told him she was a great driver, but he had heard the opposite from someone else. Angelo suspected that person was Blair, but was not certain. Angelo added that he never wanted to get in a car with Mackenzie driving because of her anxiety and the fact that she was high strung. According to Christine, Dominic and his friend Blair constantly bitched about Mackenzie's speeding and crazy driving habits. Ugh. She sounds like a peach. Good grief. I specifically asked Angelo if he knew from Dominic about threats made by Mackenzie in 2022. He said threats were made, and Dominic told him Mackenzie was crazy enough to follow through on the threats that she had made. Angelo did not provide specific examples of such threats. In closing, I asked Angelo what he thought happened in the car immediately before the crash, given his knowledge of Dominic and Mackenzie and his description of their relationship. He believed the crash was not an accident, rather, it was a deliberate act whereby Mackenzie intentionally drove the car into the building. Angelo believed some sort of fight or possibly an argument took place in the car, which prompted Mackenzie to purposely crash the car. Angelo suspected Dominic might have tried talking Mackenzie down. Angelo doubted Dominic was self harm at the time of the crash. And according to him, Dominic had plans about owning his own business. Okay, this is some interesting information. Before we ended the recording, Christine mentioned an incident when Dominic struck the mailbox in front of her house while driving as a result of being assaulted by Mackenzie. According to her, the incident happened in May or March of 2022. So at 4:15, I called Deanne Fosnight for our agreed upon interview. The call went straight to voicemail that was not set up. I was unable to leave her a message. At 4:16, I called Mike from National Business Broker. He gave me the number for Deborah Myers, redacted, who lives with Reverend Kunn, the owner of the property at 11388 Root Road. 4:44, I called Deanna Fosnight after ringing. The call went to a voicemail that was not set up. I was unable to leave a message. Let's see. I called Deborah Myers. She was identified as Reverend Kunn's caretaker. I asked her to speak with Kunz. She explained he cannot hear very well. As such, he offered to put me on speaker and convey my message to him. I explained the incident I was investigating and asked for consent to photograph the inside and outside of the church. Kunz agreed and gave Myers permission to meet me at the church on Friday, September 30th, 2022 at noon. When asked if he would be interested in filing criminal charges against the suspects in the B&E, Kunz said yes. So, data from Mackenzie's Snapchat search warrants. Snapchat data was obtained pursuant to a search warrant signed by Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas Judge John J. Russo on August 29, 2022, and executed the same day via Snapchat law enforcement email account, lawenforcement@snapchat.com. On August 30th, 2022, Snapchat Inc. complied and provided Detective Glover and me with 6 zipped folders containing 24.7 gigabytes of data retrieved from Mackenzie's account. Mackenzie Shirilla A. Yeah, it has an extra A on it. Okay, the warrant returned, was signed by John J. Russo on August 31st, 2022. Detective Glover searched all of the data provided by Snapchat. He then created a folder titled Evidence from Snap Return in the Shirilla's Snapchat search warrant folder. Given the quantity of data, Detective Glover used the following subfolders to categorize data that will be, oh my goodness, will be pertinent to my investigation. I reviewed only the data set aside by Detective Glover. While I focused my efforts primarily on the crash investigation, Detective Glover sought information related to drug activity and referred to his supplement, and the following stood out to me. B&E, Shirley, and Russo. The folder contained 26. Oh, these people are so stupid. She's just dumb as hell. I don't know. Maybe people did this kind of stuff, did dumb things, but they didn't record back when I was growing up. I'm just saying there was stuff that my friends did, I did, but we didn't have cameras, so there's no proof. We didn't do anything this dumb. So let's see. The folder contained 26 total items, 8 of which were still photographs, while the rest were snap videos of Mackenzie and Dominic breaking into the Columbia Church of God and the Root Road thing. Based on metadata obtained from the Mackenzie's from Mackenzie's account, the B&E appears to have occurred on July 19th, 2022 between 7:05 and 7:26 In several of the video recordings, Mackenzie and Dominic could be seen smoking what appeared to be a blunt while walking through the inside of the church. And I have some of the videos up as shorts on my YouTube. Contributing to delinquency, 5 video recordings were included in that particular subfolder. The video titled 2022 26 2057. So 10, what is that? 1057 or 857? I'm sorry. Shows Mackenzie with an unidentified female smoking suspected marijuana out of a bong. I mean, the photo attached is a screenshot from that particular video, and all but one, the 2022, stupid, 210 of 2022, and then you got what, 152, Mackenzie is seen smoking suspected marijuana and passing the bong to other females. So I don't know if that's that Rosie. There's Mackenzie, and then she's doing that there. Drug use and living adult lifestyle. So 403 items are contained in this subfolder. In the majority of the video clips, Mackenzie is seen smoking suspected marijuana. In one photo titled 2022, February 1st, and then this is 3/43/29. She is seen with a stack of $100 and $50 bills and one $5 bill. In a video titled 2022, February 1st, basically, and then what is that, 8:49? Mackenzie records herself smoking a blunt while driving a Toyota with a passenger behind her. Oh, yeah. I don't know who that is. Maybe, I don't know what her sister looks like. I don't think that's Faith. And then 2022, 7/14. So 2 weeks, well, 17 days before the crash. Let's see, at 6:55 and 20 seconds, shows suspected underage consumption of suspected alcohol beverage in the vehicle. So this right here. Yeah. On 7/22/22, Mackenzie and several unidentified friends recorded themselves at a party on a rooftop in Cleveland. And then there's the timestamp. On 6/25/22, Mackenzie recorded herself at Rumor Lounge in Cleveland. Selfie recordings show her consuming suspected alcohol beverages while dancing during a party. On February 25th, 2022, Dominic sent Mackenzie a message stating, "I love you, but I can't deal with this every week with what's going on with my mom. If you want to be down, you can stay. But if you're going to put me through emotional stress, I can't keep doing this. It's only going to hurt me." Okay, so post crash, Mackenzie recorded and posted several video clips of her in the hospital. Jamie Flanagan emailed me about Mackenzie's friend Rosie Graham posting photos of them in a hotel room dressed up as Zaza and Drink for Halloween of 2022. So it's basically, I guess you mix alcohol with the drink. I don't know, something stupid. Reckless driving. This subfolder contains 136 items pertaining to Mackenzie's driving. 3/15 in 2022, Mackenzie is driving while simultaneously recording herself on Snapchat. 3/20/2022, a person in the driver's seat recorded a Snapchat video of the vehicle traveling at 90 miles per hour. Prophetic, isn't it? Multiple videos exist of Mackenzie recording herself while driving without wearing the seatbelt over her shoulder. In others, the seatbelt is visible under her armpit. In 22/4/19, Mackenzie records the speedometer of the vehicles she's operating, traveling at 93 miles per hour in traffic. Okay, so these are kind of concerning. To me, they're concerning. I mean, geez. Okay, so we'll do it like this. Interesting. Okay. September 30th, 2022, 9:12 or 7:12 in the evening, I think. No, 9:12 in the morning. I'm sorry. I get the military stuff mixed up. I'm sorry, but it's 9:12 in the morning. I called Deanna last night since I was unable to get in contact with her the previous day for our scheduled phone interview. Deanna stated she was available right away for a phone interview. As such, I conducted the 14-minute interview, which I summarized below. The interview was audio recorded on my department phone and was digitally attached to the network folder. Phone interview, Deanna Fosnight. Deanna began by explaining that she had known Mackenzie through her son, David Tyler Proctor, who dated her off and on sometime around 10th or 11th grade. Deanna explained that some of Mackenzie's behaviors caused her some concerns. The examples she used had to do with the way Mackenzie's parents had raised her and their approval of certain behaviors, such as drinking and smoking. Deanna mentioned that Mackenzie bounced between three boyfriends, all of whom she believed Mackenzie argued with. She did not believe the relationships were healthy, and she asked about threats toward her son. Or when asked about threats towards her son, Deanna said she never heard the threats herself. She described Mackenzie as narcissistic. So we're going to take a picture of that. We're almost done. Okay. All right. I reminded Deanna of the conversation she and I had on August 5th, 2022, when she mentioned that she believed Mackenzie had threatened to harm herself and Dominic. I inquired about Deanna's source of information. She said she heard it from her son and his friend Joey. When asked if she knew anything about Mackenzie's driving, Deanna said her son did not have permission to be in the car with her. She suspected having heard her son say she drove fast. So there's plenty of people that know Mackenzie personally and how she was before all of this happened. So I guess we'll do this little section and then stop. Okay. So photographing the church B&E. This is 11:58. Detective Lieutenant Mason, Detective Glover, Detective Vanek, and I arrived the Columbia Church of God, 11388 Root Road in Columbia Station. The church is also known as the Apostolic House of Glory. We were met by the key holder, Mr. Carl Hardaway Jr., who lives next door to the church at 11418 Root Road, and met his daughter, Deborah Myers. Hardaway confirmed being the caretaker of the property, while Myers stated she was Reverend Kuhn's personal caretaker. Hardaway signed the Strongsville police consent to search form and used his key to allow us access inside. Myers, on the other hand, confirmed Reverend Kuhn's wish to file criminal charges against the subject. As Detective Vanek flew the Strongsville PD drone over the property to obtain video confirmation of its condition, I spoke with Myers and Hardaway. Both confirmed that no one had broken into the church since they filed a report with LCSO on July 20th, 2022. Hardaway pointed out an area near the main entrance to the church where she found a baseball bat. A subsequent church, I'm sorry, a subsequent search of the premise did not uncover the baseball bat. Once Detective Vanek finished the documentation of the exterior, he used a department-issued camera to take still photographs of the inside of the church. At first, he photographed the door knob, which showed blunt force damage to its top. The damage was consistent with someone using an object and striking down on the doorknob. In a 12-second Snapchat video recording captured on Shirilla's cell phone, Dominic Russo could be seen striking the same doorknob with a baseball bat. Yeah, I've got that up on my TikTok and YouTube. The video, currently preserved in the digital folder, is titled 22/7/19. Attached is a screenshot taken from the video taken by Mackenzie showing Russo committing the act. Once inside the church, Detective Vanek took approximately 150 still photographs The inside of the church matched photos and videos taken by Mackenzie and obtained from her Snapchat account, pursuant to a search warrant. All photos and video recordings were added by Detective Vanek. Sorry, my ears are itchy. To the digital folder. Good grief. The digital folder under the subfolder titled B and E. The only item that appeared to have been missing based on testimony from Hardaway and Myers was a guitar. Upon returning to the station, I emailed LCSO Detective Lieutenant Van Zant the following. Just to keep you in the loop, earlier today, several SPD detectives and I went to the church on Root Road and met with Mr. Carl Hardaway Jr. and his daughter Debbie. Mr. Hardaway was the complainant to your B&E. He is also the key holder and property caretaker. After obtaining consent from Reverend Kunz through Meyer and with help from Mr. Hardaway, we entered the church and took pictures of the interior and exterior of the property. Mr. Kunz expressed interest in pursuing criminal charges against the surviving subject. As such, I will let the Cuyahoga County prosecutor assigned to my case make the decision on how to proceed. Given that the church is in Lorain County, please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. And then at 1:23, I called Scott Flanagan to provide an update on the case. I particularly wanted him to know that on September 29th, 2022, I served Snapchat with the search warrant for Davian's account from July 25th, 2022 until August 1st, 2022. I explained to Flanagan that I was unable to uncover evidence from the party on July 30th, 2022, or the car ride from Brushwood Lane that preceded the crash on July 31st, 2022. I also asked him if Davian's sister Divine was present at Dominic's birthday party that his father hosted a few days ago. Information about her presence was provided by Deanna Fosnight during the phone interview earlier in the day, and Flanagan stated he was unaware of Divine having attended the party. He said he will check with her and let me know at a later time. So 1:37, at the request of the city of Strongsville prosecutor, Mr. John Castell, I called Mark Schneider, redacted. Schneider left a voicemail to Castell, or Castile, maybe, earlier in the week, inquiring about the status of the case. He particularly mentioned that someone he knew saw Mackenzie at Blossom Music Center, an outdoor music venue and stage located at 1145 West Steele Corners Road in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. I left Schneider a voicemail requesting a callback. The voicemail he left for Castile was digitally attached to the witnesses subfolder in the network folder. So we'll finish this up, and then there's another report from a Detective Glover in the same case. They're just going through different things. So I will talk to y'all later. Have a good day. Bye.